Hey, this is Amaya Santos and you're watching Get Ready With Me with JAMO magazine. I'm gonna start with moisturizer. I get really dry skin, especially here in New York in the winter, and I'm gonna use Human Race. It's my favorite moisturizer at the moment. It's just pretty thick, so I just put that all over and just kind of lather that in. I really love the texture of this moisturizer. It just kind of feels nice and keeps my face feeling really hydrated for the rest of the day. So I'm just gonna rub that in. And I'm also really loving Rare Beauty at the moment, and this is their Illuminating Prime Base. I usually don't wear foundation unless I have like a really big photo shoot, I guess. So I try to always like prep my skin and use this illuminizer just so that my skin looks nice and glowing the rest of the day. And I really love how this makes my skin feel and glow. And so I'm just gonna rub that in everywhere. And yeah. And then from there, I move on to under eyes. Again, like I said, I try not to use the foundation regularly, but I do have really bad under eye circles, so I'm gonna go in with NARS Radiant Creaming Color Corrector. And I apply a lot of this stuff because, like I said, I have really dark circles under my eyes that I'm always trying to cover. So I go in and put that just under my eye. And I know it kind of looks silly now, but once I put the concealer on, I promise I'm gonna look like a normal person. So I go in, put that everywhere under my eye. And it just kind of blends in. I kind of just tap it with my finger, and then I'll go back after and use just a sponge. This one's already kind of moist. Funny thing, growing up, my mom never let me use makeup, and so once I turned 18, I went to Sephora, and there's a guy who worked there whose name was Angel, who I always remember because he would just let me try everything, and that's how I just got into makeup. So now that I've put that color corrector underneath my eye, I'm gonna go in again with Rare Beauty and use their concealer slash corrector. And I just kind of do a few drops underneath my eye, like that. And I just go ahead and blend that all in. And just kind of spread it. The idea afterwards, we're gonna go in with like a beauty blender just because you want it to kind of seem seamless, especially if I'm not going in with a foundation. So I just kind of tap it everywhere and even bring it up just to kind of lift everything. And then now we do the other side, and same thing, just kind of tap it in, not too hard. You know, you want to be careful with underneath your eye especially. And we're just gonna bring it all the way over here. And if you're a makeup artist and you're watching this and you want to send me tips, please feel free. I will not be offended. I'm just gonna tap everything in. And once we've done that, I'm gonna go back in with my beauty blender and just kind of make sure that it's blending nicely everywhere. Like that. And don't worry if it gets like on the top of your eyelid, it's okay, because I'm gonna go back in anyways and just blend that out. And this is kind of like my everyday makeup that I go for, just kind of keeping it like not too much. And then I go in afterwards and set everything. I use this like Charlotte Tilbury Airless Flawless Finish powder, and I just kind of set that underneath and tap it in like that. And I really like that this kind of avoids creasing. Just kind of tap it everywhere like this. Already feel flawless. Okay, and then the next step for me, I love using bronzer all the time. And so I will go in, and this one I'm using today is a Huda Beauty. And I'll show you this one here. And I'm really loving this one just because it's very easy to blend. And this is their contour bronzer cream. And I just kind of go in, tap my brush into there like this, and just kind of apply it on my cheekbones. So do it here. Just kind of tap that in and bring it all the way up. And already it's making me look nice and contoured. I'm gonna do the same on this side and just kind of tap it in. You want to do that like right where your cheekbones are. I've seen a lot of people do like that trick. Whatever works for you. I just kind of know where I'm usually placing it, and I want to go around the edges. And again, don't worry, I know it looks like a little harsh now, but we're gonna go out and blend everything. So I also like to put it here on the inside, just kind of so everything blends better. And already I'm gonna start kind of like blending that up. Just kind of tapping motion I'm doing. And same thing on this side. Just gonna tap it in. And then I go back with a sponge. The sponge is like my go-to for everything. Just kind of helps blend everything and makes everything look seamless. I'm just gonna tap it in. Again, it's already kind of like moist. I always like wet it a bit to prep everything. And just tap everything in. Gonna add a little bit more here just to make sure that it's like nice and blended. And I also always put a little bit here just to help define everything a bit more. Just kind of blend it out. Same here. Just kind of defines everything a little more. Like that. Already looking sun-kissed. And from there, I'm going to move on to a blush because it's really important. It just kind of finishes everything off. And I'm going to be using also another Rare Beauty. I'm a fan if you're watching. And this is their blush called Joy. I really love that this is like a little bit goes such a long way with all of their products. And so I'm going to open that. And really you need like one drop. The color is like so rich and pigmented. And kind of just using the same brush I was using for the bronzer also to just do the same motion, tap that out. And I also like to bring that all the way up here, past my cheek. Just kind of blend everything out the same way as we were doing on the side. And just tap, tap, tap everything all the way up past my brow. And again, I use the same sponge to just blend everything out. Once I've done that with my brush, I just want to go back and just blend everything so that everything is nice and seamless and not overdone. Just gonna pick up some of that color. So we're gonna blend it all out, getting past your cheek. And something I also like to do is, like, once I'm done blending everything out, I'll go back again with this Charlotte Tilbury and just use my sponge and just kind of define this a little bit more, just to clean up anything that may have gone past. And again, tap some of that here. And I just kind of let it sit there for a little bit. I'm gonna go back and clean it. It's kind of like a baking, but not very heavy baking. And then I go back and I'm going to do just kind of like my everyday. I like to use kind of like a brown, very simple eyeshadow. So I'm gonna go in with this MAC eyeshadow called Soft Brown. And I'm just gonna pick that up and apply it on my lid. And so usually I'll use like a more compact powder brush and just kind of set that all over my lid, like so. And just tap it in. And I'll usually use also like the other side of this brush, which is like an Anastasia brush. And this is like the fluffier side, and just kind of blend all of it out. I'm like often using just like that one color and blending it all the way out. It's kind of like my go-to, just easy everyday look. And again, I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. And I find that, like, when I use this more kind of eyeshadow brush on this side and then use the blended side on the other end, it just kind of gives it that effect as if I'm using like a different color almost. But yeah, I'm just gonna blend this out again on both sides. I'm just kind of lift it. Now this is like the most important part. I'll take that same brush and I'll put a small line underneath and just blend that out. And it just makes all the difference, at least to me. Just go ahead and blend it on the bottom. And a must-do is also, I have very straight lashes, so I'm always curling them. This is my best friend. I'll use just a curling and curl those lashes. And it's gonna make all the difference when you apply the mascara also. And I'm sure you can't see the difference now, but it will. And I'm gonna go in now with this REM Beauty mascara, which I'm loving right now because I love Ariana. And so I'm gonna use that, and I'm just gonna wiggle that out like so. And I'm usually applying like at least 2 coats of mascara because you can never have enough. So I'm just gonna gonna go there, move on to the next side, and I'll come back and just kind of do another layer of that. To make sure they're all coated and that they look voluminous. Again, I'm gonna do this side again just to give it that extra. Usually when they dry again, I'll just go back and do another curling. Again, like I said, the curling is my best friend. And I'm just gonna give them that lift. It's also really important, at least for me, that you do the bottom lashes because it just opens your eye up. Otherwise, like you can see that difference between this eye and that eye. I just always have to do some on the bottom. Oh, sometimes that'll happen. Don't worry, I have a trick for it. On how to get rid of that. You want to let it dry. You definitely want to let it dry. Do not try to clean it off while it's still wet. It's going to be a disaster. Trust me on this one. Let it dry. As much as you want to, let it dry. And the next step, I'm going to go back with this liquid luminizer, also from Rare Beauty. Again, I really love the Rare Beauty products. I feel like a little bit goes such a long way. And so I'm gonna just kind of apply that here. I apply some on my nose usually. And I'm just gonna tap it out, and it's gonna give you like such a beautiful glow, which I love. Tap, tap, tap. And I did some on my nose that I kind of just extend up my bridge. So let's put some here and on my lips, or on the top of my lip. I'll go back with my beauty blender and just kind of make sure that I don't have any harsh lines from it. But I also love this stuff. It just kind of gives you that beautiful sun-kissed appearance that we all want, or at least I want. Blend that out. And if you're wondering, this shade is called Transcend. It's a beautiful, like, rosy color. So yeah, I can tell the difference. I hope you can. And oh, also this, once it's kind of dried out, now I will go back out and just make sure I don't have any harsh lines from it. Just blend everything. And no look is complete without eyebrows. I like to use this it's like a soap that I got on Amazon. I don't know if you can see there what it's called, Kaida Brow. And it's just white soap. It has a small brush. And you have to make sure your brush is wet. So mine's is wet. And you kind of just rub it in there. And then you just brush it on your brows. I've seen some people make their own. Apparently it's very easy to make, but I'm just not that adventurous to experiment with it. And so I'll just kind of brush them out to make sure they're staying in place. Like so. And I love this stuff. It just kind of makes your eyebrows look instantly fuller and just stays put all day. Then I'm gonna go back and complete every look. No look's complete without some lip gloss. This is also Rare Beauty, and I love this shade. It's called Nearly Neutral, and it's a really really what it sounds like, nearly neutral. It's just kind of like a pinky shade, and it just kind of finishes everything off. Go in. Like so. And I really love that this doesn't like feel sticky. It's just like nice and glossy. And if you stayed put, I didn't forget about this. And so what I usually do when I have these kind of accidents, I'll go back also with like a little spoolie, and you can just kind of scrape it off. And like you see, I mean, this was kind of wet, so it just spread a little bit, but you scrape it right off, and then with a beauty blender, and it's like it never happened. And yeah, so this is kind of my everyday makeup look that I do. And again, Amaya Santos. Check out my new single, Carousel. It's available on all streaming platforms, and I have a music video coming soon, so stay tuned on my socials, on my YouTube, and my Instagrams, Twitter, all that. My handles are I am Amaya Santos. And also don't forget to subscribe to JAMO Magazine's YouTube channel for all of their amazing content. Stay tuned, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.